These are foods that were invented by accident. In the 20th century, an ice cream vendor sold all the tubs and had nowhere left to serve the customers. When he looked to the side, he saw another vendor selling waffles. He had the idea to roll the waffle up, and that's how the cone was born. In Ethiopia, a shepherd noticed strange behavior in his goats. After eating fruits from a bush, they became extremely agitated. He then took some fruits and brought them to a monk, who boiled them to make a drink, creating coffee. Foods that were invented by accident. In the 19th century, a dentist observed his patients arriving every day with rotten teeth. Instead of banning sugar, he created a candy that would melt before sticking to the teeth, and cotton candy was born. Thousands of years ago, hunters would strip the bark from a tree and heat it to produce a glue, used to attach arrowheads and spear tips, until one of them realized that this mixture was pleasant to chew, and thus gum was born. Foods that were invented by accident. First, French fries. The chef was receiving many complaints about the potatoes he made, and he, intending to be annoying, decided to cook the potatoes longer than usual. The problem was that when he did this in 1853, people really liked the result. Next, cheese. Over 4,000 years ago, during a long journey, an Arab merchant decided to store some milk in the stomach of a goat. But due to the heat and the enzymes present in that stomach, the milk ended up turning into cheese and began to become popular. These are people who used food to save lives. In 2010, a group of friends was camping when they needed to build a campfire. The problem was that it had rained that morning, making it impossible to light. They were at risk of hypothermia until they came up with an idea. They used an entire bag of Doritos and managed to start the fire. In 2019, a man named David was driving when he noticed that the engine of his car started to catch fire. He didn't have any extinguisher, but he remembered that he had a bottle of soda. He shook it hard and aimed to put out the fire. Foods that were invented by accident. Part 3. In the 20th century, a 16-year-old boy was working at his father's restaurant, and one day he left a hamburger on the fire for too long and it ended up burning. To try to disguise it, he put a piece of cheese on top, and thus the first cheeseburger was born. Next, chocolate cookie. A woman was making cookies for her son when she ran out of cocoa powder. She improvised and threw chocolate pieces into the dough, thinking they would melt, but in the end it went wrong and they turned out perfect.